Hi everyone, I am Rajesh Kumar. I am having close to 16 plus years of experience in DevOps, SRE and DevSecOps. I have worked with more than 12 software organizations around the globe. I would like to introduce you all a DevOpsSchool's flagship certification program in DevOps, SRE and DevSecOps. This program will get started in the weekends, so get enrolled. Please contact us on the phone number given on the screen, and in fact you can email us on the contact@DevOpsSchool.com.
Okay, so this is the statement. Now let's go to the iterator. So we have in Python we have two iterators, while and for. Okay, so this is the for loop. Just now I used it multiple times, and while also. So it depends on that which one you want more comfortable with it. Both will result something similar, but in a different context. So here while x is lesser than 10, this is the condition. With the while you can use the conditions. For the for you can use the range. That is the difference. So if while this is the true, print this one and do this else. In the for you can use the range condition, stuff like that. Okay, this is a for loop. Here you can use the range. Student names is your list, and you can display. So other code, this was the old method, which you can use it. This is the infinite loop. While true, everything run and break it. If you 42, just now I tried it. So how do we try this? You can use this code, and here multiple for statements you have it. Okay, so this is the one of which. Here it is. So like this you will have this is a for statement, practice it. This is again one colors, which is the list, and here x in colors, and there's one more, there's one more. So practice it. Here you have a while one and stuff like that. Now next one which we have after this, yeah, let me check this. So after this we have, after this looping, we have functions. Okay, so what is function? So now let's try to understand this through the PPTs first, then I'll show you some simple example for it. So so Python functions. So Python, we have a different types of functions, which is like user defined function. I'll show you how to create it. Built-in functions, lambda functions also, and recursion functions. So lambda function and recursion functions, I'll let you study offline, but I'll focus on the more built-in functions and user-defined functions. So many functions which I have used already through the slides, if you might have noticed it, and user-defined functions also I teach. So how can you define the function? That is the point. So there is a way to define a function using def command. Okay, so you have def command, and then the name of the function and arguments, and inside that whatever the statement you have and the return value. Okay, so def name, it can be anything, any identifier by which the function is called. Arguments you can pass to the functions. Statements, the code which we write, if else, for loop, whatever it is, and then it has to return some value. It's not necessarily, but it's a good idea for that. Look at this example of it. Def add is a function, x is a one parameter, y is a parameter, something I showed you to start with it. This is the formatting statement has been used. You see, look at this, printing it and returning that x plus y. Okay, so this is the custom function which you can declare it. Are you comfortable with it? All of you?
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is something here. This is also you can function, but it's user input functions which you can use it. So how to use it? You can try this. So now let me show you some simple example for the functions. Okay, and I'll just copy the code. Here it is. Simple, very simple functions. There's a function called sum and returning a plus b. Remember that always when you this line you have to remember that whenever you use define the function or when you are using the if conditions or for loop and stuff like that, while as well, this is you have to define it. So this you have to remember that, keep in mind. So here you are passing x 3.4, if you should return print x7. So let's check it out. Here it is. Now few more examples are there, but in real time it'll be longer actually. This is one more function for just for printing this message. There's a few more functions which we have. How do we call these functions? So this is important. So here you see emails is a arguments my function which has been created here. Okay, my sorry here, and this is how you calling this. You can call with the arguments also. So here you my function arguments and displaying f name plus something else also number of it. So this is the functions which you should little bit of practice. After the functions, you have to understand the class. So how do we create a class? So the idea first let's discuss about the idea of class and then we'll discuss on this. So class is coming under the object oriented concept, oops concept. So what is class? I think more or less we understand that if you have too many functions, let's like a body itself, you have too many functions, right? So like that, so you can consider like a body or human as a class, and human has so many functions. So if you want to duplicate the multiple humans, so that we call it objects. Okay, so this can be class. Here you have a class which is a car, and from that car you can create a multiple objects, uh, different types of property. Let's say you are also human, I'm also human. So but I have different looks, different properties. You have a different looks and different properties. You can do something different with the different capabilities, I can do with something different capabilities, like that. So there's a class car object Mercedes, BMW, Audi and stuff like that. I think this you might have studied in school actually, colleges. So girls is a class, different types of girls is an object. Boy is a class, different types of boys object, because properties may have inherited different, but you construct your own properties as well. This you might have studied in colleges also. Like student is a class and the multiple types of student is objects. Are you understanding all of you?
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is the something. So I'm not dragging the too much of OOPS concept, because that's after that only once you become very comfortable with the fundamental of Python, then it'll make sense. But yeah, class. How can we create a class? So in order to create a class, this is a class. You have to use the keyword, and the name of the class is student and column. So simple. And how do you create an object? So after the creating a class, I'll show you that. How do you create an object? So you can create an object as many you wanted. So here student is a one object from the class which is called student, S capital. So that is something which you can do. So you can create a multiple uh, class, student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4. Whatever you want to do, you can create this. So here this concept you need to know, constructor. Okay, because this is very important concept to understand the class concept. So constructor are generally used for instantiating an object. So here what you did, there is one student which you are an object which is instantiating the class called student, which is in cap. So how do you do that? So how do you instantiate? So all the properties of student will go to the student object. How do you do that? So for that we use the constructor. So constructors are generally used for instantiating an object. The task of the construction is to initialize assign values to the data members of the class and when an object of the class is created. In Python, the constructor default constructor is under the init underscore init underscore something like that. Method is called to call the constructor. In our is called when object is created. So if someone will ask you, okay, there is a class I created, and then we have to create object. How to create object, that's okay, but which method which getting called, or what is the process of creating an object? So then you can say, hey, there is a class, and every time when you create object from the class, then one method is being instantiated, which is called init, and that is your constructor. So which always whenever you create object, yeah, this get called, and this only initialize all of your data members of the objects. So this is the constructor. So default constructor is a simple constructor which does not accept any arguments. Okay, this is the one in it. Its definition has only one arguments, which is a reference to instance being constructed. But you can also have a parameterized constructor also. So constructor with the parameter is known as parameterized constructor. The parameterized constructor takes its first argument as a reference to the instance being constructed known as self, and rest of the arguments are provided by the programmers. So look at this here. This is the okay. This is the my object is object. The class name is example, and then if you want to create object, that init is being initialized using the init function, and before that object is calling the created using the new function, and object is ready. So this is also interview questions like how this object is created. So object is created using the new built-in function, and then after that init constructor is being used to make the object ready. Now they'll ask you what is the role of init. So you can say it is instantiating all the members of the class for the objects, all the data members. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a simple example of the class. So there's one class geek for geeks, and here you have a default constructor you can see in it, and last line which you see the method for printing data members. So inside the class you have a one function. This is your own function, print underscore geek self, and you're printing that your self.geek, whatever it is. So how do you create objects of this? So the moment you create object is equal to geek for geek. So this you created object, but you have to run that object, right? So object dot print dot geek, which is the function you have to call, and you will get the geeks for geeks. So this is a simple example for it. There's one more function which is called addition. You see that here. So in a class you have many functions actually. So there's one more class which is addition. There's a few variables. Initialize is being done at that level. Then there's one function called display. There's one function called calculate. Okay, so it depends on what you want to do. So if you call the display, then print, all this will happen. And if you notice a little carefully, calculate is being used. Okay, calculate is being used somewhere in the bottom second line actually. So first you create an object. So I created object from the addition class, and when we create objects you have to call the some of the parameters if you want it, because 1000 and 2000 addition functionality. So here you create an object, obj you create an object, and here object is equal to addition, directly you're creating, and addition with the parameter 1000 and 2000. So that will be pass. If you see that initialization constructor, parameterized constructor f and s. So f will be set as a first, and second will be set. So f will be first and s will be second, whereas value for first is equal to 1000 and second is equal to 2000, and that is what you are doing, calculating self dot first, self dot second. You are printing an answer and printing all this thing in the display. So that is how you are calling it. So this line object is equal to addition is been creating object, and after that you're calling the function object.calculate, which is here object.addition.
If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopssschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.